Soundstripe. Soundstripe.
Welcome in, everybody, to Lock and Live NFL Week 10 with Uncle Phil and Smooth Andy. I'm Matt, your host. Hope everyone's having a great Sunday morning. Uncle Phil, how are you guys doing?
Good. Excited about the day. And like I said, I really like the lines today. A few games in particular I really like, and excited about getting on the winning track here. How about you, Smooth Andy?
Yeah. Well, I've gotten my butt kicked for a couple of weeks now on all the favorites covering, and I am in for a lot of dogs again today. So I'm a glutton. We'll see how this works out. But I got a big card. I think I'm not betting on two games today. One being the game that's being played right now. So yeah.
Yep.
Well, looking forward to both of your guys' picks. Before we start and get to it, anything from last week that you learned that might help you out this week? Put another winning weekend together?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, for me, it was had a good time in the sports book. Got to see all the games, and I felt like that there were some things going on there. I mean, one of the things that I learned this week that I played this morning, we'll see if it works out. These teams have kind of gone to a scoring drought. Was that Carolina was aside this morning. Carolina, Bryce Young's playing his best ball of the season right now. People had kind of given up on him. He's quietly got reinserted, looking a lot better this morning. Certainly one of the things I've seen, just need some points and look like they're going to be at a premium. But if Daniel Jones can actually hit some open receivers, and actually see the players that are on his team, then maybe we can actually get some points.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, he's probably the worst quarterback in the NFL, which is saying something. But how about you, Smooth Andy? Anything from last week?
No, same thing. We had a good time in Vegas, and as usual, we had a lot of fun Saturday and Sunday just watching all the games, and it was a mediocre betting weekend for me, but still had a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Well, let's get to it before halftime ends and the third quarter starts. Uncle Phil, where are you heading first today?
Yeah. I'm heading first and second to the exact same place. I'm going to Jacksonville, where Minnesota's coming in. Look, typically when you get a team that has a backup quarterback and they're inserted in the lineup, you typically get a bounce, and they end up doing good for a game or two. That's not the situation here. Mac Jones is being thrust in the situation because they just needed a change of quarterback. He's been putting in there because Trevor Lawrence sustained a shoulder injury, a non-throwing shoulder injury, and Mac Jones, his first game back, he gets to face Brian Flores' defense. Just not a really good look for him. And to top it off, you've got Jacksonville's left tackle that just came from Jacksonville and is now Minnesota's left tackle. I would think that he probably knows Jacksonville's offense pretty well, and I'm counting on that today. Probably shared some secrets about that, and some things that Mac Jones can do or not do. I mean, since the last time we've seen him, although it's been a while. So my first best bet is Minnesota minus 4.5 in the first half, and my second best bet is Minnesota minus 7 for the game.
Love it. Go Vikings today.
You bet. Heavy on the Vikings today.
Love it, man. Smooth Eddie, how about you? Where are you heading today?
I'm going to give out 2 right now, and then there'll be several more later, as I mentioned. Starting with, I've got Dallas today. I hate this bet, except that it's so contrarian because it's sort of like who on earth would take Dallas in this game, the way they've been playing and the way Philadelphia seems to have sort of returned to their form from earlier last year. They seem to be kind of on a roll. But my numbers came up with it. I'm going to go with it. I mean, there has to be a number where you bet Dallas and where it covers, and I think I'm hoping that I'm on that number today. Same thing with Houston. I mean, obviously, Detroit is a really solid team, and they're on a roll. So I'm not surprised that Detroit's getting so much attention. I'm a little surprised that it's so one-sided against Houston because Houston's a good football team. So I've got them. They are at home today. Both teams, actually, Dallas and Houston, are at home. So I've got home field advantage against viewed to be superior team, but I'm hoping we can sneak in and cover or maybe even win outright. So those are my 2, Dallas and Houston.
Yeah, look, man, I think those are very definitely non-public teams today. But I will say this for the Eagles is that do you really trust Nick Sirianni to maximize his points, which I think he left about 8 points on the field last week. He went for it twice on 4th down where he was in field goal range, and he blew at least 2 2-point conversions, maybe a third one as well. So again, he is not very friendly to bettors they're doing that. They were up 22-0. They were smashing Jacksonville, and he managed to almost single-handedly lose that game. It was a Trevor Lawrence interception at the end that saved him from a bunch of hard questions at the end of that game. Now, for Houston, look, a lot of sharps are on Houston tonight. We'll see how it turns out. Detroit is just a machine. They're just really a juggernaut at this point. Maybe I know weird thing. Nico Collins was activated on Saturday from the IR, which was weird that he became a man, the 53-man roster on Saturday, which was odd. That just doesn't seem kind of normal. We'll see if that actually makes a difference today. Dan Campbell is 40-15 against the spread at Detroit. That's why Detroit's getting so much love. They are just a machine under Dan Campbell. If you just bet nothing else but Detroit for the past few years since Dan Campbell came on board, you have earned a well-deserved vacation.
Sweet. Well, let's get to some comments here. We'll take fewer than we usually do just because the second half in the Giants-Carolina game should be starting up pretty soon.
First, I'm anxious to get back to
that. Not really, but you do have a live play, so
I do.
Love watching every minute when we have action.
That's one of the big reasons why I didn't tell you is because I didn't want to have to watch this garbage. It's awful. Such a terrible game.
It is.
It's our last overseas game, so look, we had to put some action on it.
Yeah, 2-7 against 2-7. Who's not excited about that?
The only thing I'm disappointed about is that when I put my tweet out is that I went back in backspace and deleted Carolina plus 6.5. So I'm really disappointed that I left that one on the table.
Yep. Well, hopefully we get Daniel Jones throwing bombs here second half. Yeah. Anyways, let's get to the questions. We got Corky on Twitter. He says, Onk, your Bijan total receiving yards from last week was free money. Do you have any other favorable rushing or receiving props?
100%. Daniel Jones is not Daniel Jones. Drake May is been the leading rusher ever since he's been inserted for New England. His rushing yards are 29.5. That is free money. This guy may rush for 80 yards today. That is free money. I'm not a player prop guy, but that one even makes me want to pull out my wallet because that's free.
Drake May rushing yards. All right. All right. Well, thanks for the question, Corky. And I hope you won big last week on Uncle Phil's Bijan call.
You bet.
Next up, we're going to go to Preston Westheimer from Twitter. He says, thoughts on the Niners. Kyle Shanahan seems to step things up after a bye.
Yeah, it's in my notebook. I won't reveal that one. But look, Shanahan's been really good after a bye. Tampa Bay is has extremely live dog. It'll be interesting to see how this one turns out. They gave Kansas City all they wanted and more against that vaunted Kansas City defense. Now, I don't think the defense played that well. We'll see how they did. Tampa Bay's defense was on the field for 83 plays against on Monday night, so off a short week. Typically, that has some effect. We'll see how many. If you want to step in front of Baker Mayfield's been fantastic this year, and you could make a case for just about every game except that Week 3 game against Denver, where it just was never in the cards. But other games, the Ravens game, Kansas City game, all those games could have certainly gone his way. Smooth Andy, you have any thoughts on that game?
Yep, I am unsurprisingly on the dog on that game.
Unsurprising.
Yeah, I'm on Tampa. Everybody's on San Francisco. McCaffrey's back. We'll see how much playing time he gets. He might need to kind of ease his way back, and I'm sure he's in good shape. The question is really about that those Achilles tendons of his. I just think this is a pretty good shot. I mean, I really just like Tampa Bay as a dog this year. It's just when they pop up on my spreadsheet, I'm always kind of happy because they're better than everybody seems to think they are. And so I'm happy to have that one too.
Sweet. Well, thanks for the question, Preston. Next up, we got Andrew from Dallas. He says Bills -4? He's not sure what Colts team will show.
Smooth Andy?
Nope, that is one of the 2 games today that I am not betting. That's the other one. The other one being the one that's going on right now. I think I had an indicator on Indy, but just like one lean on them. But I'm glad not to get in front of that Buffalo steam train right now that they are. So, yeah, nothing on that one, I'm afraid.
Yeah, not my notebook. If I did it, I would play Indianapolis. Buffalo is without Keon Coleman with a wrist, potentially out with Amari Cooper with a wrist, and their other wide receiver, I forget his name, is out as well. So their top 3 wide receivers, they're out. It would be an interesting game. I got to think that Joe Flacco would probably bounce back from that performance he had last week against Brian Flores' defense, which didn't look great, missed some open opportunities, held the ball too long. But again, a lot of that's due to Brian Flores' defense. But if I were playing the game, I'd play Indianapolis +4, but I don't have the guts to do it. I'll just go ahead and tell you. But the sharp play is for Indy.
Sweet. Thanks for the question, Andrew. We'll take 1 or 2 more as halftime's coming to an end in that great game.
Don't want to miss any of that.
We got 8D Mock from Twitter. He says, are the Commanders winning today? Mark.
Smooth Andy, you're Commanders guy through and through.
I sure as hell hope so. They're the only favorite I have on my card today, and they are on my card today because everybody's on Pittsburgh, somewhat surprisingly. But I do. They're only given 2, so less than a field goal. I'm probably going to end up winning by 1 or something like that in the end, but we'll see. I am a little surprised. I thought Washington was starting to become a public team, but Pittsburgh is still more public than Washington apparently because they've got the most of the bets. Not really truly lopsided, but enough. So yeah, I'm on Washington today.
Yeah, look, it's not on my board. I, again, am gutless because I pulled Washington off my card because I think Washington's the play here. Pittsburgh is a huge public dog today. Everybody's on Pittsburgh. Everybody's like, Washington hadn't played anybody. They hadn't played a defense like Pittsburgh. And my whole comeback is that I don't think Pittsburgh's played anybody. When they've played people, they played the Jets when they had, not that the Jets are some juggernaut, but they played him when Devontae Adams' first game came back, or when he first came back. Aaron Rodgers, I think, threw 3 interceptions. It was just an awful game. I think they played the Chargers when Justin Herbert was hurt. They've kind of had all these little kind of breaks kind of set up for them. I don't think they've had a great schedule. It's been a great schedule for them. It's been a very easy one. I think the back half is going to tell us a lot more about Pittsburgh. Gets significantly harder from here on out. This may be the week to start fading Pittsburgh. Like I said, if I had any guts at all, I'd be on Washington today, and that would be my play. But I think you probably could make some money on the under today.
Sweet. Well, thanks for the question there, 8D. Uncle Phil and Andy, we're coming out of halftime. Any last words before we take off and have football Sunday today?
Smooth Andy, thoughts?
The dogs better bark this week.
Yeah, it's time.
I've been very patient. I've been very patient.
What is it?
3
out of the 4 weeks, the favorites have just covered, and the 1 week they didn't, it was even. So we really hadn't had a strong dog week yet.
And they haven't just covered; they covered it. I think it's like 65% or something.
No, it's been massive.
Crazy, yeah.
It's been massive. I've got it. I just don't have it in front of me, but yeah, it has been. We'll see. We keep promising a dog weekend for the faithful, but that hadn't happened yet. We'll see. Look, again, Vegas is going to eventually get their money back. It's been to just tell you how it went. Look, I follow the stock market pretty strongly as well, and DraftKings just reported its earnings, and it missed its earnings because it said its statement. I'm paraphrasing. This is not exact, but it said because the public has won at an extraordinary rate this fall, it missed its earnings. So that tells you, and I actually think they gave more the guidance for Q4 for that, because they're like, the public has won so much that we're going to miss our earnings on this. So again, that just tells you what an atypical year this is for football and the public. So look, hope they enjoy it. It will come to an end, but I don't know when. We'll see when it does. But
I might end up just having that carved into my tombstone. I'm waiting for something like this week is when the dogs hopefully hit or something like that, and just that'll be what will happen after all my money is gone, because I can't seem to get a dog to hit. So
there you go.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. For Matt, who hosts show Smooth Andy, follow him at Smooth Andy 5 if you don't already. Me and Uncle Phil's Locks across all platforms, including YouTube. Thanks for following and subscribing there. I do put some special content on there. Guys, as always, let's have a day. I'm excited about today. I love these lines today. As always, guys, let's roll.
Soundstripe.